Okay, welcome to Meet Your Neighbor. Today I'm here with Walden Grove High School English teacher and Arizona Teacher of the Year finalist Ashton Gildea. Thanks for taking time to do the interview, Ashton.
Thanks for taking your time to come out here and talk to me.
Oh, not a problem. Great to be here. And so you recently finished as a top 5 finalist for Arizona Teacher of the Year, which positioned you as an ambassador of excellence. Can you explain what that title entails?
Yeah, so it's going to be a year of service for me. That's kind of how the top 5, we look at it, in the sense that we each kind of created a platform for our applications when we were going through the whole process, certain educational issues that were really important to us. So I will be invited by different companies, organizations, school districts around the state over the next year to kind of go and speak on the issues that I wrote about. So my platform issues right now have to do with teacher retention, but also student autonomy in the classroom. So our first thing is we're going to get some speech and media training next month. I'm really excited for that. And then from there, we kind of just go on to whoever invites us to speak. We go and share our thoughts.
Okay, great. And kind of just touching on your teaching here, how long do you plan on teaching? Is there anything else you would like to do in the field of education or career-wise, in the future?
I love being in the classroom with the students, so I don't see myself leaving the classroom completely, but I do really enjoy working with other teachers as well. I enjoy facilitating different professional developments up at the district office, which I've done for a couple years and I'm continuing to do. So if I ever were to leave the classroom, it would be to train incoming teachers.
Okay, gotcha. And so you have a pretty interesting style of teaching. You don't like to do lectures often, and you kind of focus on an interactive teaching style with your students. Where did you adapt this style of teaching, and is there a teacher that kind of inspired you to teach in this way?
Part of it is based off my own learning style. Even when I'm very interested in something, if I don't start actively doing something with it or actively talking about it, I can get off track and whatnot. And when I was doing my student teaching, the teacher that I was observing and working with in Massachusetts, she never really lectured. And when she did get anything close to a lecture, she would kind of put up some information, then have the students do something smaller, talk about it. And any sort of traditional lecture suddenly became a conversation. And I realized how engaging that was for the students. And it was different with every class period, so it wasn't boring for her. And I was like, I love this. So I kind of stole that from my cooperating teacher and my student teaching.
Okay, and can you talk about how we all went through the early parts of the pandemic. Obviously, I wasn't in school. You were teaching during it. How did you handle that? And was there anything you took from kind of like the Zoom learning style that you adapted to your teaching style today?
Yeah, that was a very interesting experience. I definitely learned a lot about different apps and different software programs that were good online because we could gather all the student work online and everything, but could also be adapted into the classroom. If students have service on their phone, like Nearpod, you can do fun activities in the learning, so it kind of gives you extra tools to make the learning engaging. And then also it was just, I feel like I got to know the students even better in a certain way than when we were in person. So kind of taking that background knowledge of all the stuff going on outside of the classroom in their lives has really helped me kind of tweak the way I organize my lessons, the way I organize my week, knowing like what days they have more going on and less going on, and when they're mentally exhausted and all that kind of stuff. It was more apparent online than it was in person.
Okay, so you say you kind of learned something from going through that you have adapted
definitely.
to now.
Yes.
Okay, and can you tell me about one maybe specific student success story where you got through to a student that might have been difficult to reach?
Yeah, I'm not going to name names, but
of course.
One student for sure, my very first year, he didn't seem to really like English. He would do enough work to pass the class, but very disengaged. And I was struggling a lot with my students that year because they had 6 long-term subs the year before and just weren't used to having one person, the accountability all the time. So I tried doing different things to kind of connect with them emotionally, and he was resistant to that at first. He didn't necessarily like the team building games. He didn't like the weekly emails I had them write where they'd tell me about their week and the fun stuff. But slowly it kind of worked out for him, and slowly I got more personal stuff out of him. He got more interested in class discussions, more interested in the work. His grades started going up, And I knew I got through because at the very end of the year, he took the time, last day of school, he could have just went right to the bus and left, and he came and told me how much that class ended up meaning to him and how nice it was to have a teacher on campus who he knew really cared and could get through to him. And that's kind of the technique I've kept using with troubled students or students who aren't initially engaged in learning, is if you find something they're interested in and you talk to them about it and you show them that you care about them more as just a student in your one class period, then they become more invested in you and your class and your teaching. So.
Okay, so that's definitely, you kind of personalize your approach to each student.
Yeah.
Instead of just a generalized approach, I take it.
Absolutely. I try and know hobbies of every single student in my class and things I can ask them about on their way into the classroom so that they know, oh, I'm not just another kid. He knows not just my name, but he knows who I am and what I'm passionate about.
Okay, and I'd just like to let the viewers know, if you're interested in learning a little bit more about Ashton Gildea, reporter Jamie Verwise has an article out with the Green Valley News and Sarita Sun. You can check it out at gvnews.com and learn a little bit more about Ashton Gildea. So Ashton, thanks for being with us here today on Meet Your Neighbor, and I appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.